Hey bookworms, welcome back to my channel and to another retro review, the show on my channel where I review classic novels. The word show does seem to roll off the tongue really nicely, but I'm not really sure it belongs here. I mean, it's not really a show, so it fits phonetically, just not semantically. No one cares, let's move on. So today I will be talking about Great Expectations by the great Charles Dickens, because what's more classic than Charles Dickens? Now, if you've been following me, you know that I already did a retro review about David Copperfield, and I really loved it. Now remember that it will be important later. But in Great Expectations, we follow Pip, who is an orphan, but he doesn't really come from poverty. I mean, he was raised by his sister and her blacksmith husband, so they did have means, you know, there were food on the table, but you can hardly say that they were well off. But after Pip falls in love with Estella, a beautiful but kind of mean young lady, he realized that his dream is actually to become a gentleman. Now, to those of you who didn't live in the Victorian era, being a gentleman pretty much means having more money, more stature, and either have a really good job like a lawyer or just have so much money that you don't have to work, you just spend it all on drinking and partying. Anyway, the opportunity almost literally falls into Pip's lap because a mysterious benefactor decided to make his dreams come true, and Pip is off to the big city to study and to become a gentleman, only to discover that money and stature aren't always more important than kindness, friendship, and love. Okay, so remember when I said that I really love David Copperfield? Well, I found Great Expectations really similar to David Copperfield, both in types of characters, the moral of the story, and kind of general feeling. So on one hand, I really love David Copperfield, and also I really loved Great Expectations, but the fact that the two books were so similar also, on the other hand, kind of bothered me. And I have to say, I liked David Copperfield better. Maybe it's because I read it first, or maybe it has to do with actually the greatest difference between the two novels, which I will talk about in a moment. So to those of you who haven't watched my David Copperfield review, and again, if you're interested, it will be linked in the description box. You're more than welcome to check it out. Here's what I liked about both novels, but obviously I will be focusing more on Great Expectations. So as a classic, I know a lot of people will wonder, okay, how heavy it is, can I read it as a modern reader, is it too much? Too classic-y? Well, let me assure you, it's not a heavy read, it's a page turner, it's interesting, it's heartwarming. The characters are so wonderful and well written, you really fall in love with some of them and really hate others, but that's okay too. And this is really the strength of the novel. The characters are so lovely and compelling and well written, and as I mentioned before, this is the moral of the story. What's inside is what matters, and in order to make this point, some of the characters, especially the poorer ones, are just so wonderful. I would have loved to just meet some of them and, I know, become their best friend. In addition, Charles Dickens wrote this book as a series, kind of. He would publish each chapter or each part in a different issue in a newspaper, and obviously when you're doing something like that, it's called a serial, then you would have to keep things interesting so people would want to continue reading. And oh my god, guys, there are some twists in this one. I was so shocked by some of the things that were happening and were revealed in this book. I think that at some point I actually said, "What?" out loud, so no, you won't be bored. If you are wondering if you can read this classic without a degree in English Lit, the answer is yes. But now I do want to go over the biggest difference between David Copperfield and Great Expectations, because I do feel that it affected my judgment of the novel, even though it's not a negative, okay? And this has to do with the protagonists of both novels and also the moral of the story, which, as I said a few times now, now it's basically virtue versus money. And in this aspect, David Copperfield and Pip are completely different protagonists. You see, while David was from the beginning a very kind person, a very friendly person, Pip was kind of at the opposite side of it. Now, he wasn't a bad person by no means, but he was ashamed of his humble origins and he thought that being a gentleman was going to solve all his problems. In short, he had to learn a lesson. Now, as a concept, this is great, but despite that, or again, maybe it's because I read David Copperfield first, I felt like I really didn't like Pip. At some points, he was such an ass. I just wanted him to finally learn his lesson and realize what an idiot he was. Now again, this is not a negative. Creating a character that learns something or changes point of view is not just great. I think it's kind of a must-have in a way in certain books, but I just like the other one better. I also think that this is why a lot of people say that Great Expectations is even better than David Copperfield, but if I had to choose, even though Pip does redeem himself at the end, I think David trumps Pip. Sorry. But guys, that's it for my review. I really enjoyed Great Expectations and I was really happy to read another Charles Dickens novel that I really liked. And it's also a wonderful classic if you want to start reading those. It's really fun and I really recommend it. So guys, to those of you who read both Great Expectations and David Copperfield, do you agree about my comparison between the two? And which protagonist is your favorite? Are you Team David or Team Pip? Let me know in the comment section. So guys, that's the end of my video. Thank you very much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed my video. If you did, please don't forget to click the like button to show your support and also subscribe to my channel if you dare, and check out my playlist of my retro reviews or just other more modern reviews. I do those as well. Again guys, thank you very much for watching and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.